I prayed for all of you to give us the spiritual strength. Right. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirannasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnupadaya सरस्वती देवे प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्या देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, where Kapila Dev is instructing Devahuti and her friends, and we paused here where we were meditating on our occupational duties and to not work excessively, not to have over endeavored, but to be satisfied with what life gives us. And any realizations or anything you'd like to share before we start reading? Any Balaram Purnima realizations? My hands are full of this perfume from the altar because the pujari gave me that main flower with with all the perfume. I'm like, it's so good. That's my realization. That when we are in such Krishna consciousness, fresh, all the impure thoughts, all the impure feelings just disappear. Just one with one whiff of Mahaprasadam flower, which is ornated with amazing transcendental fragrance.
Just the way you're explaining, we're able to see it, smell it, get a whiff of it. Thank you.
It's a rose that I got. It's the Mahaprasadam rose. It's like a pink color. The only mark on the garland. It's amazing how it's all about giving us empowerment, right? It protects us. And I'm just thinking how even my realization with my Guru Maharaj has been similar.
Your voice is breaking. Mataji, your voice is breaking. We can't hear you.
Standing there praying for myself, it's one thing. But can you hear me?
Yeah, now it's better. Yeah.
Okay. So when we pray for others and when we become part of the bigger mission of Lord Chaitanya, then the mercy flows stronger. And I was there chanting Mangalarti. But then when I started praying for all of you, that's when the garland came, and then the Pujari gave me the flower with the fragrance. So this is a realization that if we want to receive the mercy of Krishna and Balaram, we need to pray for others. We need to bring others to Krishna consciousness, and we need to sincerely look at ourselves as the servants of who can facilitate other people's journey towards Krishna. And even if we feel unqualified, the way to become qualified is by sharing Krishna consciousness, by praying for others. It's a very powerful thing I've learned. Even my Guru Maharaj always prays for everybody. He has a book of names and he prays for everybody, not only his disciples. So I'm just, and Balaram represents Guru, right? He's the Adi Guru. He is the primary Guru, and Lord Nityananda as well. So the mercy of Guru comes to us when we pray for others, not just for our own. And when we pray, when we say we pray, I pray for my spiritual progress. Our spiritual progress lies in how much we can wish well for others. That's a whole paramo nirmatsaranam satam. The Bhagavatam is free from envy, and it's able to, we should be able to pray for everyone. Loka samastha sukhino bhavantu, sarve jana sukhino bhavantu. We wish well for everybody to come closer to Krishna. So this prayer attracts the mercy of the Lord, and I feel this right now. I experienced it in the standing in the Mangalarti today. Thank you for being part of this sangha and engaging me. Yes,
Thank you so much. Such a
just
beautiful realization. Such a amazing, powerful realization. I was when you were saying that, I was just thinking about Bhaktivedanta Maharaj. He also said the same thing. Our spiritual
yes.
progress depends on how well we are treating each other. That's how
Uh,
we're able to understand. Like exactly how you're explaining. So beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much.
in fact, even in the recovery groups, like 12-step recovery, like people who are addicted to, say, substances or any other habits which are detrimental, in the steps, the last step is the 12th step, and it's called to give and to share this message with others, to pray for others who are suffering from this addiction, like that. So that's actually the step that saves us. It's not, we can't save ourselves if we are not engaged in other people. And that's the power of recovery as well. We bring the message to others, and we hold meetings like sanghas that actually reminds us of our actual powerlessness and the Lord's power, and our willingness and our ability to surrender our life to Krishna, so that he can empower us to do what? Not to enjoy our senses, to save others who are suffering. So it's a whole beautiful circle that completes itself. We we're part of this beautiful circle of Sangha of Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Um, okay, so let us resume our reading. So we read till here. Now I will explain Yama. This includes non-violence, truthfulness, refraining from stealing, accepting the bare necessities of life, celibacy, austerity, cleanliness, study of authorized Vedic scriptures, worshipping the Lord's personal form, observing silence, or in other words, not discussing anything not related to spiritual life. Then one must practice asana, sitting postures, pranayama, breathing practices which regulate the vital air, and pratyahara, withdrawing the mind from the sense objects. All these practices help steady the mind so it can focus on the super soul within the heart. Okay. If you have any comments or questions, otherwise, somebody continue reading, please. Anyone?
Yogis then practice dharana or concentration. Usually they focus the mind on the six vital airs circulating the body. While doing so, they meditate on Krishna's spiritual pastimes. This develops into meditation or dhyana, and then into a state of total spiritual absorption known as samadhi. Somehow or other, the unbridled mind, which is attracted to sense enjoyment, must be trained to become absorbed in Krishna. The Ashtanga Yoga process achieves this by the methods I have just mentioned. However, samadhi can also be achieved by other processes. For example, in Bhakti Yoga, one can hear about and glorify Krishna and his pastimes. and thus become absorbed in their thought. Devahuti was curious to learn more about the Ashtanga process. Kapila said, to practice asana, the yogi spreads a sheet of deerskin covered by kusha grass and a cotton cloth in a secluded and clean place. Then he adopts the Swastisthasana pose, which is the easiest sitting posture, and practices pranayama, or the breathing exercises. These are puraka, breathing deeply, kumbhaka, holding the breath, and rikarka, exhaling. He can also reverse the sequence by first exhaling, then holding the breath outside of him, then inhaling. These breathing techniques free the yogi of all mental agitation. Devahuti raised her eyebrows. Mere breathing exercises could calm the mind? Kapila indicated the gold necklaces adorning Devahuti. Do you know how this gold was purified of all its original impurities? Devahuti shook her head. In the natural state, gold nuggets are alloyed with other metals. To purify the gold, the nuggets are placed into fires fanned with air to increase the temperature. Pranayam works on the same principle. By utilizing their vital air, yogis can purify their minds of materialistic thoughts. Devahuti still could not understand. Kapila explained, according to Ayurveda, one's psychological condition is maintained by three factors, kapha, pitta, and vayu, phlegm, bile, and air. When these are out of balance, the mind feels disturbed. Pranayam corrects imbalances between them, thereby calming the mind. Practicing dharana or concentration stops the mind from thinking about sinful activities. By pratyahara, one withdraws from worldly association, and by dhyana or meditation on the Lord, one attains transcendence, where he is no longer attracted or repulsed by anything material. Dhyana is possible once the mind is purified of mundane thoughts. To execute it, one must concentrate on the tip of the nose with half-closed eyes and focus the mind on Vishnu's form. Kapila hesitated, wondering how to describe Vishnu's exquisite beauty. Standing up, he walked over to the edge of the veranda and looked out over the gardens, admiring the view. Tall trees lined the pathways, their fragrant blossoms swaying gently in the breeze. Beneath the veranda was a shimmering pond covered with red and blue lotuses. Rainbow-colored fish darted around their stems, and humming bees hovered around over the flowers. Kapila sighed, appreciating how nature reflected Vishnu's beauty. He beckoned his mother to join him. When she was standing by his side, he pointed to the pond. Vishnu's smiling face reveals the beauty of those delightful lotus flowers. Their reddish tint resembles the ruddy tinge of his eyes, and his swarthy body is of the same hue as the blue lotus. In his four graceful hands he holds a lotus, conch, disc, and mace. The saffron yellow filaments of the lotuses resemble the effulgent yellow color of his waist cloth. In the center of his chest is a curl of white hair known as Srivatsa. Around his neck hangs the brilliant Kaustubha gem and a garland of fragrant forest flowers surrounded by a swarm of bees. He is further adorned with a priceless pearl necklace, a crown, and a pair of armlets, bracelets, and anklets. His hips are encircled by a girdle, and he stands serenely on the lotus of his devotees' hearts, gladdening their eyes and minds. Vishnu is eternally youthful and beautiful. He is the Lord of everyone in the universe, and he is ever willing to bless his devotees. The devotees absorbed in glorifying Vishnu also become glorious. Therefore, Mother, it is recommended that one meditate on Vishnu himself and on his pure devotees. One should continue performing yoga until the mind never wavers for even a moment from his form. Because Vishnu's activities are so charming, the yogi becomes absorbed in seeing him with his eternal associates as he walks, talks, or even lies down. To cultivate an attraction for Vishnu's personal form, it is best to meditate on him limb by limb rather than contemplating his whole body. One should first concentrate on his feet, whose soles are adorned with marks of a thunderbolt, gold, banner, and lotus. His ruby colored toenails are as brilliant as the moonshine. This meditation frees the yogi from the ignorance and misery of material existence. Shiva has become more auspicious by bearing on his head the holy waters of the Ganges which wash Vishnu's feet. The thunderbolt on those divine feet shatters the mountain of sinful desires accumulated in the conditioned soul's heart. Therefore, one should meditate on them for a long time. As one meditates on Vishnu's legs, he should remember the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, who places those legs on her own thighs. Even the gods worship her to obtain her favor. As Vishnu's consort, she is the mother of Brahma, who was born directly from the Lord's body. Despite his exalted position, she is always attentively massaging Vishnu's transcendental legs. The yogi should then meditate on Vishnu's thighs, the source of all energy, which are whitish blue, like the linseed flower. They appear most graceful when the Lord sits upon Garuda's shoulders. Next, the yogi should focus on Vishnu's rounded hips, draped with an exquisite yellow silk cloth hanging to his ankles, encircled by a girdle. The yogi should then meditate on Vishnu's moon-like navel in the center of his abdomen, the foundation.
I'm sorry. Actually, we were repeating it because we already finished that reading. I don't know. Maybe I made a mistake with my book mark. So we were enlivened hearing again about the meditation on the Lord's limbs. And thank you. Maybe resume from we should resume from where we left off yesterday. Just give me a second. If you have any comments or any questions, now is the time you can start sharing as I find the right page from where we stopped yesterday. Um, maybe you can help me. I think we left off in this page. Can you remind me? I think we left off where it was speaking about bhakti performed in the three modes, bhakti performed ignorance, to get revenge or something, and then bhakti performed in passion in order to achieve wealth, fame, or other facilities. And even those executing bhakti in the mode of goodness are separatists, although they practice and execute their worldly desires as a sacrifice to me. Their intention is to attain liberation from cycle of birth and death. I think we left somewhere here. I can read these two paragraphs to conclude if unless somebody else wants to read. You're all very quiet today. Pure bhakti means to be spontaneously attracted to hearing the transcendental name and qualities of the Supreme Lord who resides in everyone's heart. The pure devotee or personal motivation. His ecstatic love flows towards me like the Ganges flows towards the ocean. Unless there's an opportunity to serve me, such a devotee will not even accept liberation, despite my offering it to him. This includes living in my spiritual abode, possessing the same powers as me, becoming my personal associate, having a form equal to mine, or oneness with me. By attaining this pure stage of bhakti, my devotees automatically overcome the influence of the three modes of nature and achieve a spiritual state like mine. To achieve this perfect stage, one must perform his prescribed duties with neither the desire for material enjoyment nor liberation. While achieving this stage, one must cultivate devotional service as a religious ritual. This is a difficult stage of performing pure bhakti in a state of being attached to tranquil name and qualities of the Lord with no tinge of material motivation and no tinge of material intention. We all come with certain baggage, certain cultural conditioning. And like we come from a South Indian background, we come from a South Indian culture, about kind of like performing devotional service as a religious ritual in order to like compensate my uh, lack of taste. Even like yesterday, I was thinking, um, whenever I'm thinking of materially satisfying myself, immediately there's a sense of guilt that arises. And then I know intellectually that I'm supposed to be better than this, I'm supposed to be more spiritually inclined. Sometimes our conditionings about why we perform devotional service can take away the taste for pure, spontaneous bhakti. Krishna can give us everything, every possible emotion that can make us so fulfilled, and it's permanent. Yet, this conditioning sometimes gets in the way. So I don't know. Just this is a question for you. What is your cultural conditioning that maybe is preventing you from experiencing Krishna consciousness to a full degree? What is preventing you from experiencing that love that is flowing from Sri Sri Panchatattva, that's flowing from their divine couple, Sri Sri Radha Krishna? What is your cultural conditioning that is keeping you from experiencing Krishna's love? It's a question. You can contemplate. If you like to share something now, you're welcome. We have a few minutes left. Any questions or comments?
I was thinking, being thinking about oneself, as in like sense gratification, comes in the way of pure bhakti. Bhakti is for like, Krishna's pleasure, right? When contemplation is about how can I enjoy that, it's like a big barrier to perform pure devotional service to Krishna.
Very good point. Any other thoughts? We have 2 minutes left. If you like to. Okay, since there is nothing else, we can conclude here and resume tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining. Hare Krishna and happy Balaram Purnima.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Dharani, very well, I could see you. You're looking so pretty. Going to the temple?